Hi, welcome to the Property Show. I'm Jayesh from LVTV. We're talking about the extended plot corridors of the Delhi NCR. There are many things that are happening in this NCR. We divided the NCR plot markets into about 7 corridors. We found that Faridabad and beyond was a very strong corridor. There is the Rohtak Road, which is Bahadurgarh to Rohtak, Hisar. That is a strong corridor where people are looking for plots. We see the Sonipat, Panipat, all the way up to Karnal is another place where a lot of people are seeking plots, and there are lots of options. We also have the Gurgaon and the NH8 and Sona Road corridors. So, in a nutshell, the real estate residential plots in the Delhi NCR is seeing a lot of traction. There is supply, there is demand, but there are pitfalls too. And we'll start with Pankaj. Pankaj, there is a lot of activity on the periphery of Delhi, and the driver is Delhi, but there is a lot of activity across the NCR. Would you like to comment on that?
See, the activity in market of plots in the periphery of Delhi is largely because all the industries which were based in Delhi, they have been asked to shift out.
Okay.
Now that creates a lot of job markets in the peripheral Delhi market. Secondly, the price variation in Delhi market and the NCR market is very large. Case in point, if you talk about Rohini, you will find that the land prices are anywhere between 4 lakh to 5 lakh rupees per square yard. Whereas the proximity to Rohini would be Sonipat, Panipat, and if at all, along that belt, you would find the price ranging from 20,000 to 50,000 rupees a square yard.
Okay.
Now, anybody who's having a 300 square yard property, it offers better living. It offers additional facilities like you can buy a car and fund the kids' education. And it also brings in a lot of peaceful living. With the connectivity of NH1, NH8, and NH24 getting better, the traveling time has come down.
Okay.
It is no longer a concept of distance, but it is a concept of how much time it takes. Let me tell you, from let's say South Delhi or a Central Delhi and going to North Delhi will probably take more time than from North Delhi to Sonipat. Same is the case with Bahadurgarh and same is the case with probably Ghaziabad with NH24 being 8 lane. The connectivity to these markets has brought in an incentive for that budget people to look for individual houses.
Right.
That I think is one of the biggest reasons why, because of which the plot market has become very active. Case in point would another aspect would be what is happening in Gurgaon, where the floors have been permitted. Now exploitation of that plot has increased. Earlier there were 3 floors, now there are 4 floors. Because of which the plot market has also started moving.
Right.
So I think these are some of the broad reasons why the plot markets have started moving.
Sure. Shanky, who is the buyer today? कौन खरीद रहा है, क्यों खरीद रहा है, एंड यूजर है, इन्वेस्टर है, और कौन से मार्केट से खरीद रहा है? आप you're on mute.
मैक्सिमम आज जो बाजार में बायर है वो एंड यूजर बायर है। तो जब से हमारा होम लोन इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हुआ है, तो इससे जो रेंट पे बंदे रह रहे हैं तो वो कन्वर्ट होने शुरू हो गए हैं। और जो इनकी प्रोफाइल है, अगर मैं उनको देखूं तो मैक्सिमम टीचर्स, आर्मी वाले, पुलिस वाले। जो हमारी हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट ने दीनदयाल आवास योजना लॉन्च की थी 3 साल पहले, आज उसमें बड़ा अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स मिल रहा है हमें। जो अफोर्डेबल प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं ये, और लोग इसके अंदर इन हो रहे हैं जिनकी सोच से भी बाहर हो गया था। जनरल सेक्टर जो बहादुरगढ़ की मार्केट के रेट्स में बात करूं तो 40 to 50,000 रुपीज पर स्क्वायर यार्ड हो गए। और जब से ये अफोर्डेबल प्रोजेक्ट्स आए हैं तो ये 20-21,000 की रेंज में आपको अफोर्डेबल 100 स्क्वायर यार्ड, 150 स्क्वायर यार्ड्स के प्लॉट्स मिल जाते हैं। तो जो टीचर्स और एक आर्मी और पुलिस मैन, इनके लिए एक अफोर्डेबल रेंज हो गई, तो वो इजिली इन कर सकते हैं।
एंड नॉर्मली टिकट साइज होता है?
मैम, जो दीनदयाल आवास योजना है उसमें मिनिमम 75 स्क्वायर यार्ड से लेके मैक्सिमम 180 स्क्वायर यार्ड तक आप ले सकते हैं। और जो डिमांडिंग साइज है इसका वो 100 to 150 स्क्वायर फीट मैक्सिमम,
और इसके लिए बैंक लोन मिल जाता है?
बैंक लोन मिल जाता है, इजीली मिल जाता है मैम।
Okay. Now, Samir, I'm going to come to you. Clearly, it's the peripheral markets which are driving the sales. What should a consumer look for? The non-legal, where there is where the titles are not quite clear, are definitely cheaper. So why should you spend more and buy into good titled properties?
See, one thing which the consumer need to look for, and I'm not going to go into too much technical legalese, is first and foremost, you need to have a perfect title. When I say title, I mean to say that the property should be registered in the name of the person who's selling the property, and as a buyer, should be able to register that property in your name. Failing which, you are on the mercy of the seller, and you are basically on the trust of that this property will remain with you. What is happening in areas such as unauthorized colonies is that you're not able to get the property registered in your name, and the reasons are several. And when that happens, when the property is not registered, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, you do not know if someone else also has bought that property, because there's no way to check that. And the other buyer comes and starts a litigation, and this happens day in, day out in unauthorized. As a lawyer, I know for a fact that the unauthorized colony litigation is massive. So the three things which I think you need to look into is, one, check with the sub-registrar whether the title of the property is clear. Check whether the property is already charged with the bank or not. Earlier it was slightly difficult. Now there's a central registry. It's called the Central Registry of Securitization, Asset Reconstruction and Security Interest of India. Now they have made an online portal where you can put the details of the land, and you would know whether this property is charged with a financial institution for a purpose of loan or not. And the third part is, I think you should ask your seller or anyone who's aware of the land laws to check the master plan of Delhi, and to check whether the land you're buying is actually a residential area, residential plot or not. So these are the three things which I think you need to check before investing in any plot of land.
Samir, if you could give us, send the portal name to our producer, we'll put it here so that people can see.
Sure, I will in the course just send it on the chat.
Pankaj, today, why is it so important to buy into master planned areas? So what happens if I don't buy in a master planned area?
See, like Samir talked about the legal aspect of the plot. When you talk about unauthorized plots and then the plots outside master plan, you have to understand, like group housing, if you buy in a group housing, you get certain facilities. Similarly, if you buy in an authorized colony, I agree it is expensive because the government fees are very high. But then you are entitled to a lot more services, which means sewer, water, scheduled electricity, the club facility, proper roads, play areas. Unauthorized colonies, they are haphazard developments which do not have any amenities attached to it. I do not agree that the unauthorized colonies are cheaper. I think they're more expensive. It is just the additional services, what I just talked about, they are not there in unauthorized. So you're not paying for it. If you buy outside the development control areas, you do not know the fate of the land. You know, the land use is governed by the developmental plans. If a plot is in residential developmental plan, then it will be regularized. If the plot is outside the developmental plan, it can never be regularized. Now that is in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But in the state of Haryana, a regular plot would mean a plot for which license has been obtained by Director Town Country Planning. There is no concept of individual plots being regularized in the state of Haryana. In the Delhi, we call them as Lal Dora plots. So it is very, very important that regular and authorized plots, we should enter into transactions only of these plots.
Samir, when I'm thinking of buying a plot, how do I choose where to buy and how do I choose who to buy from? Give us some rules of thumb.
Well, I think it doesn't have a legal answer. I would rather reframe the question to say that what you should look for before you buy a plot, apart from these three legal issues as to the title of the particular property. Now, as Mr. Goel just pointed out, it's important that you buy a plot where you have these amenities. Now, any unauthorized colony, as he said, will not really provide you because the state is not obligated under the master plan. These are either agricultural areas or industrial, mostly agricultural lands which have been converted into unauthorized colonies. So there'll be no sewage, no electricity. There'll be an issue with getting bank loans on that. Title would be a problem. You can't do your proper due diligence because the information is not available. They'll be highly populated, no proper parking areas, no parks for kids to play. All these issues will if not currently being there, but will eventually crop up because the builders or anyone who's constructing a plot is not legally covered for that FSI and FAR regulations. So these are a couple of things which you need to look for. I mean, if you're buying a plot to stay, then you need to make sure that 20 years down the line, you'll at least have a planned area around you, which is extremely important.
Actually, I was asking in terms of when you buy maybe along a metro line, maybe along a connectivity coast, are there certain areas that you should, are there buffer zones? Are there things that you should be looking for? That's what I meant.
I mean, again, from my perspective, I would choose where I should buy depending upon a lot of soft factors rather than looking at. I mean, if you're buying across a metro line, certainly commutation will be very easy, and provided it's a authorized colony or authorized area where you can actually go and buy a residential plot. So it absolutely is a personal choice, I would say. But of course, legally speaking, these are a couple of things you need to look at.
Right. Shanky, बहादुरगढ़ में मेट्रो के आने से कितना हुआ है and infrastructure का role क्या है when you buy a plot?
मैम बहादुरगढ़ में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाइज अगर मैं बात करूँ, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अगर कनेक्टिविटी वाइज बहुत अच्छी कनेक्टिविटी हो गई है, मेट्रो आ चुकी है, केएमपी से वेल कनेक्टेड हो चुका है, दूसरा अगसेन यूनिवर्सिटी आ चुकी है, तो कनेक्टिविटी वाइज और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाइज बहादुरगढ़ जैसे फरीदाबाद में बूम आ चुका है, गुड़गांव में बूम आ चुका है, बहादुरगढ़ और सोनीपत आज भी ऐसे अभी वो बची हुई है सिटी जिनमें अभी स्कोप बाकी है कनेक्टिविटी वाइज, जिस हिसाब से वो अभी है डेवलपमेंट का। दूसरा, यहाँ पर जो अफोर्डेबल्स की जो प्रोजेक्ट्स जिस हिसाब से रनिंग हो रहे हैं और एक प्रॉपर प्लान्ड जो टाउनशिप्स कट रही हैं, उससे एक बहुत अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स मिल रहा है लोगों को। जैसे पहले अनऑथराइज्ड प्लॉटिंग जो हो जाती है, अनऑथराइज्ड प्लॉटिंग जब से सरकार ने बंद की है, उनकी रजिस्ट्रियां बंद की है, उससे भी बाजार में इम्प्रूवमेंट आई है।
Pankaj, when you talk about Delhi or any of the NCR cities, we've seen a large number of unauthorized colonies being authorized in a periodic fashion, right? This gives rise to a lot of people thinking that you can buy into whatever land. After a point of time, it will get authorized. Do you think that's one reason why people go for unauthorized? After which we'll go into the where should I buy and what should I buy?
No. I think largely people get into these purchases only because of the difference in the prices.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference in price is mainly because of government charges. The land values remain the same.
How much is that differential? How much government
It varies from area to area. If we talk about state of Haryana, then at times it is higher than the cost of land. The regularization of these unauthorized colonies, I think it's a lot more political and hygienic decision than anything else. But I would be very surprised that anybody would invest their life savings thinking that probably in future this colony is going to get authorized. I think it is the price difference and the availability which drives people to these areas. Maybe it's unlikely, but maybe a lot of them are unaware that these colonies are unauthorized.
Pankaj, after the lockdown, we have seen a distinct rise in demand for plots. Comment on that. Why are people going for that, and what? Who are the people who are coming to you for plotted developments, to developers like you?
See, I think rise in demand can be attributed to two things. One, the 6-month lockdown, effective lockdown was for about 6 months, has also seen there is a pent-up demand. You know, there is a regular demand in the market for, and let's say an absorption rate of X number of units in 1 month. Now that has combined in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
B, I think people have started valuing privacy and their own time a lot more. COVID and the lockdown has not only have had negative impact. You know, people are getting aware of the priorities are changing. Because of the shift in the priorities, the demand for plots and that privacy is coming in.
Yeah.
I would attribute that as probably the single biggest reason for increase in the market.
What's the role of infrastructure when you buy plots? What kind of infrastructure should you look for?
See, without the infrastructure, these plots are not habitable. They are just investment. This is just piece of land. There are two kinds of infrastructure which are typically talked about. One is the infrastructure which is provided in that area by the government.
Yeah.
It would include roads, fire services, police services, electricity, water. And second is the services provided by the developer in that colony,
Okay.
which would include the parks, the street lighting, the common amenities in terms of daily need shops. A combination of both determines the price of that area.
Samir, I have a query here which says, is it safe to buy plot on power of attorney in Delhi? What can be the disadvantage?
Absolutely not safe. Supreme Court has clarified the position very recently in Suraj Lamps 2 case. Any property bought on the conventional power of attorney, will, and agreement to sell or sale agreement, which is unregistered, are absolutely not safe. One thing you need to know about power of attorney is power of attorney, even if you get it registered, is only valid till the time the person who was given the attorney is alive. Right, and also that person always retains the right to cancel it at any point of time. So someone may sell you the property today, 2 years down the line, unfortunately, if the person dies, you practically have no right in the land left. So the Supreme Court has said that any sales which will be made on the basis of will, power of attorney, possession letter, and sale agreement are not valid sales. They cannot be registered. No title in the land will be recognized. So I would strongly advise against buying any property on these documents.
I have one more query for you. How can a Lal Dora property be converted into a legally valid one? What is the process and where?
It depends where's the land located, what the master plan of Delhi talks about that area. One grunt norm is that if the master plan doesn't cover that area as a residential area, that you cannot then convert it into a residential property. It depends where exactly the land is. If it is covered and validly can be converted into residential area, then you apply for the conversion with the State Ministry of Urban Development and pay the conversion charges, and the department takes some time and then converts it after charging some fees.
Shanky, एक डेवलपर रेटेड कम्युनिटी के अंदर जब आप प्लॉट्स खरीदते हैं तो आपको क्या फायदे हैं, एंड जब आप एक पेरिफेरल एरिया में खरीद रहे हैं, जैसे बहादुरगढ़ हुआ, वो अभी डेवलप हो ही रहा है, तो प्राइस एडवांटेजेस क्या होते हैं वहाँ पे?
मैं प्राइस एडवांटेजेस में अगर मैं डिफरेंसेस की बात करूं, कंपैरिजन करिए दिल्ली से, वेल कनेक्टेड है आज बहादुरगढ़। दिल्ली में जो मैं 150 गज का 200 गज का प्लॉट अगर लेने जाऊंगा तो वो कम से कम आप अप्रोक्स मान के चलिए 4 to 5 लाख रुपीस पर स्क्वायर यार्ड के। उससे अगर मैं कंपैरिजन बहादुरगढ़ को करता हूँ तो आज मेरे को यहाँ पर 30,000 की पर स्क्वायर यार्ड के हिसाब से चीजें मिल जाती हैं। तो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस इन प्राइसिंग। सेकंड थिंग, अब जो ये डेवलपमेंट जिस हिसाब से हो रही है तो उस हिसाब से एप्रिसिएशन बहुत हो सकता है देखा जाए रेट डिफरेंस के कारण। दूसरा, जिस हिसाब से यहाँ पर इंफ्रा अब डेवलप हो रहा है, फैसिलिटीज यहाँ आ रही हैं, उस हिसाब से फ्लोर सबसे बेस्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑप्शन है। दूसरा, सरकार ने अब फ्लोर्स का सिस्टम 3 फ्लोर से 4 फ्लोर कर दिया है, तो जो इन्वेस्टर के लिए भी प्लॉट बेटर है कि इन फ्यूचर वो उसमें फ्लोर डेवलप करके बेच सकता है, जिसमें आप अच्छी रिटर्न मिल सकती है।
और जब एक गेटेड कम्युनिटी में खरीदते हैं तो रोड विड्थ वगैरह, इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बताएंगे।
मैम, जैसे दीनदयाल आवास के जितने भी गेटेड कॉम्प्लेक्स के जो प्रोजेक्ट आ रहे हैं, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये बाउंड्रीड होते हैं, गेटेड होते हैं, पार्क वगैरह, कमर्शियल वगैरह सब कैंपस के अंदर होता है, कम्युनिटी सेंटर की सर्विसेज वगैरह मिलती हैं, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, सीवर और वाटर, ये प्रॉपर गवर्नमेंट अप्रूव्ड मिलते हैं। जो रोड्स होते हैं मिनिमम 30 फीट्स की विड्थ मिलते हैं। तो मतलब एक फैसिलिटी कैंपस के अंदर ही सारी मिल जाती हैं और वेल डेवलप्ड मिलती हैं। जैसे फैसिलिटीज, किड्स प्ले एरिया मिल जाता है, ओपन जिम मिल जाती है, जॉगिंग ट्रैक, जो अनऑथराइज्ड और इलीगल में नहीं मिल पाते।
Pankaj, this is taking off from your discussion about the government charges. What type of taxes do you need to pay when you buy a plot in Delhi or the NCR?
What I was referring to was the charges a developer has to pay to the government to get it authorized. But the taxes what we're talking about are basically two types. One is the stamp duty and one is the registration charge. Now these two vary from state to state.
Right.
And depending on the buyer, if it is a women has a different stamp duty and a male has a different stamp duty. But now I think most of these taxes have been rationalized. Stamp duty varies from 5% to 7%, and registration charge varies from a fixed amount of 10,000 rupees to probably 1%
Right.
of the transaction value.
Let's talk about the Sonipat market. In Sonipat, there is the Rajiv Gandhi Education Hub. There is a distinct driver, which functions as a distinct driver. How does the setting up of such commercial drivers help in growing the price of your property in the future?
See, these infrastructure developments are the reasons the prices are going up. If you talk about the Sonipat micro market, it is not only Rajiv Gandhi Education City. It is being projected as an education hub for the state of Haryana. B, there are a lot of industrial townships which have been made not only by Haryana government but Narela subsidy, which is by the Delhi government. These industrial subsidies, as they call them, they generate employment, and these housing gated communities, they provide residential areas. The intrinsic demand for these town B and town C is not that much that it caters to the increasing supply line. It is largely the infrastructure development and these industrial and other possible developments that drive the prices.
And if I come in as an investor, how long should I hold the investment?
Two things. A, it depends on your capacity to hold. B, it depends on where you've invested. Okay. At what point have you entered the market? That is very important.
Okay. Take today's market. Take today, I have a large number of consumers who are looking for plots, and we can see the searches going up on our site as well. And there is places like Sonipat have a big search volume. So advise the consumers what they should look for, how they should select. It's not that all of Sonipat will do equally well, or all of, compared to other places as well. So give some rules of thumb for consumers to use.
Sonipat, all the plotted gated communities which are outside the main Sonipat city, they are driving a lot of attraction. Largely because of the following. Number one, I think connectivity to Delhi, like I was telling you earlier, it is not a question of distance. Now it is a question of time. From Rohini to Sonipat will take you about 30 minutes, which practically is the least possible time to commute in NCR. Second, with the setting up and these industries functioning, there is an immense job employment opportunity which is coming up. Like Sankey said, the army people and the defense personals, they are buying. But there's a lot of blue collar and middle management which is buying into these colonies. Third, it is not only the potential of the surrounding areas, but it is also the expansion of the existing subsidy. Sonipat market per se is also expanding. They are also absorbing quite a number of plots. Anybody who's wanting to invest, I think the curve is on the rise again. When the curve is on the rise, it is the best time to enter.
And between buying an apartment and buying a plot, help consumers understand what is the difference?
I don't think it is comparable. They both cater to different requirements of a customer. If a consumer wants added security, playgrounds for the kids, I think group housing offers that much. It's a lot more viable to get into a group housing. If you are looking of a lot more independence, and the basic difference I would attribute is what is the land prices. If the land prices are much higher, plots become very expensive vis-a-vis the apartment. The subsidies or probably the NCR towns, what we are discussing is because the land prices are reasonable right now. And that is the reason the plot market is looking at appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely. Samir, when I did the survey of the Ghaziabad market, there are a lot of places, entire setting is, the layout is not legal, but they have, they can register the property. The mutation is done in the name of the person, but all property papers are not in order. Now, at any point of time, the development authority can come and actually break down your properties, but the city corporation, the municipal corporation, has actually mutated the property in your name. Help us understand, how does this work?
See, you need to understand that once you're buying a plot of land and getting it registered, all you're doing is that you're recording your name as the owner of the land. Building a house on that land is a completely different ballgame altogether. Now, once you build a house on the land, then there are different departments of the government involved. There's a master plan. There's a building plan you need to get approved. There's a FAR and FSI requirements. Now, any violation of those norms, which are the building bylaws of a particular city or state, will have to be followed once you're constructing the property. Now, if an area of the city where you have bought the land is not, doesn't have the zoning permission or doesn't have the permission as per the master plan, you're not going to get the permissions to construct the property the way you want to. And therefore, after you do that, there is always a risk that there may be a demolition. Very recently, all of us saw the Kangana Ranaut demolition in Mumbai. The legal reason behind that was the violation of some building norms, and it happens day in, day out that either the property gets sealed or the property gets demolished, and there'll be a bulldozer one fine morning which will just demolish the areas which are not as per the building bylaws. So that's the difference. Owning the piece of land and to be able to construct a property on that land are governed by different set of rules and regulations.
There's one more query for you. Where unauthorized colonies are now authorized, is it advisable to buy a plot there?
Can you repeat the question again?
The unauthorized colonies that have now been authorized, there are 1,700 colonies that have been authorized. Is it advisable to buy a plot there? Is it all right?
Yes, I mean, if the unauthorized colony has been authorized, it's as good as buying a plot at any other location in Delhi. So yes, it is completely advisable. In fact, in 2019, the Parliament passed a law where a lot of unauthorized colonies have been now authorized. There are, of course, a couple of exceptions of around 70 affluent colonies and the ridge areas and the O zone of MPT 2021 and so on and so forth, which will never be authorized. So while you may want to see what has been authorized as on the date of purchasing it, but do not get kind of fooled or swayed by someone's assurance that it will, now the act is there, so it will eventually be authorized, because you need to be sure that where your property lies.
So if it is in that list of colonies that have been,
Yes.
it is okay to buy there.
Yes.
Pankaj, let's take this conversation to the Yamuna Expressway. That is an area where there are many new drivers. You've got the airport, you've got a data center, Hiranandani data center coming up, you've got the Samsung plant, you've got a large number of industrial units coming up, and there's a film city, there is all kinds of drivers. What are the prospects of this area, and who should be buying?
If you talk about plotted development,
yeah,
I think Yamuna offers very good chances of appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
See, these, what you mentioned, the airport and the film city, they will come over a period of time. What is critical is the accessibility of the area. Yamuna Expressway connects Noida and Greater Noida to Yamuna, which is a matter of about, again, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So over a period of time, when these infrastructure developments, are finally taking shape, coupled with this accessibility, Yamuna is going to see good returns.
How long should I remain invested for the good returns?
That depends how long the government takes to develop all these things.
A minimum?
Difficult to say, but I think anybody should look at a minimum horizon of 5 years.
Don't invest in plots for anything less than 5 years.
In Yamuna Expressway, yes.
In other places?
You compare it to cities like Bahadurgarh, Sonipat, Faridabad, they are already 10 years ahead of Yamuna because these developments have taken place. Yeah. And there are additional developments that are coming.
Right. So there you don't have to, you can keep watching the markets?
Absolutely. I think in these markets which have already seen infrastructure developments, prices are changing now very fast. And probably if you're looking for a quick buck, you can exit in less than a year's time also. A year's time or more.
And taking off from your conversation, there's another query that has come. Which region should be preferred for plot investment in NCR among Gurgaon, Greater Noida, Faridabad and Ghaziabad?
The idea of investing has to be very clear because it is not comparing oranges to oranges. Gurgaon offers something. See, Gurgaon is no longer a subsidy of Delhi. Gurgaon is a city in itself. So there is no comparison whether you should invest in Gurgaon or Greater Noida or probably Ghaziabad or Sonipat. Still these, Yamuna is 5 years, 10 years away. Sonipat is about 1 to 3 years. Gurgaon is happening today. In Gurgaon, what are we talking about is not the appreciation of the plots, but the floors of the plots. That appreciation has already taken place. The infrastructure development appreciation, the risk of developer, connectivity, that has already been past that. Now we are talking about further development on the plot. So, A, what is your time horizon for the investment? B, what is the purpose? If you are investing, my kid is going to grow up and he is going to go to college, I need money then it's a different reason why you are investing. If you're looking for quick money, that is a different reason. A lot of people are investing there in the job that when we retire, we're going to make a house. That is a different reason for getting invested.
There is Amit who asks, can I get a plot for 20 lakhs on the Sonipat highway?
Not on the highway, but Sonipat subsidy, I think Deen Dayal Awas Yojana, 100 square yard plot, probably yes.
And this Deen Dayal Awas Yojana has actually been well run in the Haryana region, and there is a lot of interest around that. Would you like to explain out that concept to people, what all it entails?
See, Deen Dayal Awas Yojana for cities like Sonipat, what they have done is they've reduced the level of investment. For the main colony, or which I call it as a regular colony, the average size of a plot is about 300-350 square yard. Whereas in Deen Dayal Awas Yojana, the average size of the plot actually comes down to 125 to 150 square yard. Now, that changes the profile of the customer. The number of people that can actually come in terms of land prices, it is the same. In terms of government charges, there is not much of a difference. There's a 25 reduction in the government fee, which is not substantial to as the total project cost. But what is important is the level of investment is 1/3.
And this is available. Developers are promoting these.
See, Deen Dayal Awas Yojana, we have to take a license under that scheme from the government. Yes, a lot of developers are exploring Deen Dayal Awas Yojana.
So it's good to buy into gated communities promoted by developers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shanky, बहादुरगढ़ रीजन में प्लॉट्स में आपको डिमांड किस रेंज में दिखता है? छोटे प्लॉट्स में और बड़े प्लॉट्स में, और इफ आई इन्वेस्ट इन अ बिगर प्लॉट, व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स फॉर मी?
मैम, आज की मार्केट को देखते हुए तो मैक्सिमम जो बायर है वो स्मॉल प्लॉट्स का ज्यादा है, और ऑब्वियसली बात है जिसका ज्यादा बायर होगा, जिसकी डिमांड ज्यादा होगी, तो उसकी इन्वेस्टमेंट में हमें रिटर्न भी ज्यादा मिलेंगी। क्योंकि स्मॉल इन्वेस्टमेंट, जैसे पंकज सर ने कहा कि दीनदयाल आवास योजना में 125-150 गज के एवरेज साइजेस हैंगे, तो ये पॉकेट फ्रेंडली चीज हो जाती है कि एज एन इन्वेस्टर कभी भी बंदा इसको रोटेट कर सकता है इजीली, और इसकी बायर्स और मार्केट में डिमांड ज्यादा रहने के कारण इस पर रिटर्न्स भी अच्छी मिलती हैं। आज कंपैरिजन किया जाए छोटे प्लॉट पे इन्वेस्ट करना और एक बड़े प्लॉट पे इन्वेस्ट करना, तो मैं मानता हूं कि छोटे प्लॉट पे इन्वेस्टमेंट पर रिटर्न ज्यादा अच्छी मिल सकती है।
बड़े प्लॉट्स में मतलब छोटा प्लॉट मतलब 170-80
100 square yard, 150 square yard, in between 100-150 square yards.
That's the easiest one to flip, right? अगर आप बेचना भी चाहे तो वही अच्छा सेल करना।
Yes, ma'am.
Pankaj, I've got this gentleman who's come back, Amit, who says, please tell me how I can apply for Deen Dayal Yojana.
You don't have to apply for Deen Dayal Awas Yojana. There are developers who are developing townships under Deen Dayal Awas Yojana. And you can buy, it's freely available, brokers are there, maybe not, if not at 20, then probably 22, 24, depending on what is the stage of development.
Right. There's one more part of the NCR which is seeing traction, and that's Faridabad, a market that had immense potential but never really achieved its full potential. Today, it's being seriously considered, the Faridabad market. It goes all the way up to Mathura, Vrindavan. You know, it's an unbroken trail along the corridor. Would you like to talk about investments there, the buyers there, who's buying, and what are the trends you're noticing?
See, Faridabad, if you look at as a market, again, there were a lot of bottlenecks from Delhi on the Mathura road. Badarpur was one of the biggest ones. Then came when you enter Faridabad. Now, with Mathura road becoming signal free, reaching Faridabad from South Delhi is about 40 minutes. There is metro connectivity available. The moment the infrastructure comes into an area which connects you to the main sub-city, you will find a surge in prices, demand, and transactions. Faridabad, unfortunately has always been a tagged as a blue-collared colony, second poor cousin of Gurgaon, which is not so. I think Faridabad has a potential which not many have realized. It is extremely close to Delhi. It has a large industrial base to it. Faridabad market, I think, again, should do very well.
Okay. And are there any areas in Faridabad, any pitfalls that you should be guarding against?
See, pitfalls are the same. Those pitfalls can be anywhere. When you're transacting in the land, it is the law of the land. It is not specific to a micro market.
आपके लिए शंकी एक क्वेरी आया है, what is the cost of a 100 square yard plot in Bahadurgarh and which is the best locality there for buying plots? तो आप बहादुरगढ़ के बारे में थोड़ा सा खुल के बात करें कि different sectors हैं, कहाँ पे खरीदना चाहिए near the highway.
आप नियर बहादुरगढ़ में सेक्टर 35 आया है जो ऑन बाईपास मेन बहादुरगढ़ का है, उस पे लोकेटेड है ये, दीनदयाल आवास योजना के अंडर ये है, और इसमें आपको 23,000 to 25,000 पर स्क्वायर यार्ड के अंडर आपको 101 स्क्वायर यार्ड का प्लॉट मिल जाएगा। इस पे इजीली लोन भी अवेलेबल है, SBI से आपको लोन भी है, गेटेड कॉम्प्लेक्स है, फैसिलिटीज इसके अंदर सारी बहुत अच्छी दी हुई हैं, बैडमिंटन कोर्ट, बास्केटबॉल कोर्ट, क्रिकेट पे जॉगिंग ट्रैक, ओपन जिम, मतलब ये अफोर्डेबल होते हुए भी एक लग्जरियस जो फैसिलिटीज होती हैं वो सारी इसके अंदर आपको मिल जाएंगी। तो मेरे हिसाब से ये आपके लिए बेस्ट ऑप्शन रहेगी सेक्टर 35 में, द ग्रैंड फोर्ट एशिया के नाम से प्रोजेक्ट में।
आप अपने प्रोजेक्ट की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं कह रही थी अगर वहां पे 35 सेक्टर्स हैं, आप सेक्टर कैसे चूज करेंगे? what are the criteria that you should look for? मेट्रो किसके पास है, मार्केट्स कहाँ पे हैं? थोड़ा सा बहादुरगढ़ के बारे में बताएं, ये एक न्यू मार्केट है।
मैम जितने भी दीनदयाल के या अफोर्डेबल जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स आ रहे हैं वो बहादुरगढ़ के थोड़े आउटर में ही आ रहे हैं जहां नया बहादुरगढ़ डेवलप हो रहा है। तो उससे अगर हम मेट्रो की कनेक्टिविटी की बात करूं तो अप्रोक्स 3 to 4 किलोमीटर्स आपके मेट्रो की कनेक्टिविटी है, मींस 5 मिनट्स, और मेन मार्केट जो है वो भी अप्रोक्स 4 to 5 मिनट्स का वे है। मिनिमम बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट होगी वो आपको कैंपस के अंदर ही बिल्डर डेवलप कर रहा है, जो बेसिक नीड होगी वो आपकी सारी कैंपस के अंदर ही मिल जाएगी। आपके जितने भी स्कूल्स हैं लाइक जीडी गोयनका, मदर्स प्राइड और आपका डीपीएस एंड ऑल, वो बहादुरगढ़ में सारे आ चुके हैं, हर टाउनशिप तक उनकी बसेस जाती हैं। एजुकेशन, तो एजुकेशन हब हो गया। अब दूसरा बात करते हैं हम इसका मेडिकल से टर्म्स में। मेडिकल टर्म्स में अब जिस तरह हमारी आगस्टिन मेडिकल यूनिवर्सिटी हो गई या और भी बहुत सारे ऐसे हॉस्पिटल्स आ गए हैं जो मतलब वेल सेटल्ड हैं, अच्छी फैसिलिटीज मिल जाती हैं। और बात करें हम जॉब्स वगैरह से रिलेटेड तो बहादुरगढ़ एक एज एन इंडस्ट्रियल हब में जाना जाता है। आज अगर हम बात करें बहादुरगढ़ फुटवियर हब है, जितनी भी दिल्ली में सीलिंग चल रही है मैक्सिमम जो फैक्ट्रीज हैं वो वाइंड अप करके हमारी बहादुरगढ़ या सोनीपत की तरफ डाइवर्ट हो रही है। तो आज अगर मैं बात करूं लास्ट 3 इयर्स का अगर मैं रिकॉर्ड उठाता हूं तो इंडस्ट्रियल में बहुत अच्छा बूम आया है, जिससे इंडस्ट्रियल में बूम आने से रेजिडेंशियल में ऑटोमेटिक इम्पैक्ट आ जाएगा। बेरोजगार होगा तो ऑटोमेटिक बंदा घर भी लेगा, काम भी, सारा सिस्टम ऑटोमेटिक होता चला जाता है। तो अगर मैं सेक्टर वाइज बात करूं जितने भी नए सेक्टर्स आ रहे हैं वो थोड़े आउटर में डेवलप हो रहे हैं और वो नया बहादुरगढ़ कहला रहा है। बहादुरगढ़ झज्जर बाईपास कहते हैं उसे।
बहादुरगढ़ के बारे में एक और क्वेरी आई है, टेल अस द फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ एक्सटेंडेड स्ट्रेच फ्रॉम Bahadurgarh towards Rohtak and what are the legalities one should consider while investing there?
मैम बहादुरगढ़ टू रोहतक अगर मैं बात करूं, बहादुरगढ़ में आज इंडस्ट्रियल हब जिस हिसाब से बन गया है तो यहाँ पर इंडस्ट्रियल की जो फैक्ट्रीज हैं वो 55 to 65,000 पर स्क्वायर यार्ड्स के रेट हो गए हैं। तो अब बात करें हम बहादुरगढ़ से टुवर्ड्स रोहतक की तरफ तो सारा रेजिडेंशियल से ज्यादा इंडस्ट्रियल पे जोर है। अगर मैं बात करूं वहां से हम क्रॉस करते हैं तो रोहत, सापला, वो सारा इंडस्ट्रियल में ही तब्दील होता जा रहा है, जिसको थोड़ी सी सस्ती इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी है। तो आज आप इंडस्ट्रियल हब की अगर मैं बात करूं इंडस्ट्रियल में आपको 4 to 5,000 रुपीज पर स्क्वायर यार्ड से लेके 55 to 60,000 पर स्क्वायर यार्ड तक के ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल है, डिपेंड ऑन साइज। जितना हम बहादुरगढ़ से टुवर्ड्स रोहतक चले जाएंगे उतना सस्ता होता चला जाएगा।
Sameer, I have a query for you. Can a plot bought on farming land be converted into residential? If so, how?
If you ask me a simple answer, yes. But again, it would depend upon the master plan. There are several areas which are currently agricultural, but the master plan allows them to be termed as or converted to residential. So if your master plan, city's master plan allows it, then yes, it can be converted.
Okay. Another question for you: is it safe to buy a plot which is assigned to a government employee in a group housing society where the person has not registered the property in his name but wants to transfer it in the new buyer's name?
Now, it depends upon your group housing society's bylaws and whether the group housing society's bylaws or regulations allows a plot to be transferred or a flat to be transferred from one person to another. There are several societies which are for government servants or for a particular kind of individual. So, and they only allow transfer from one government servant to another government servant, for example. So if there is some kind of restriction there, then you may face an issue. However, if free transfer is available as per your society's bylaws, yes, why not?
Okay. And Pankaj, one of the last questions to you: what are the permissions and approvals required for developing plotted plots? What should you be checking when you buy?
In the state of Haryana, the government of Haryana through Director Town Country Planning grants a license. And the charges are paid as per the license. That is one. Second is RERA registration. When you check the RERA registration, you ensure that all permissions are already there, because now RERA registration is only given if you have all requisite permissions.
Okay.
Having said that, I think depending on the size, you can have a pollution NOC, you can have an environment NOC. In a plotted colony, airport is not valid, but largely it is the license from Director Town Country Planning which is determines whether the colony is authorized or not.
Samir, another query: can a disputed land bought by two owners be sold by one? Like, can one owner sell his part even when the land is in dispute or a court case is going on for the same?
Okay, there is no specific clear answer. It all depends upon what the dispute is. Now, if you're talking about undivided share in a land, again, it depends whether the co-sharers of this property are family members. If they are family members, then the first sale has to be, and it's an ancestral property, then you have to allow the other members to first buy out rather than selling it off to a third party. However, practically looking at it, there is no point of buying any land where you do not have a demarcated area. An undivided share in the land is just an accrued right on papers where you may not be able to see the light of the actual land or the demarcated land till the time the dispute gets over. Yes, disputed properties do go off in the market at sometimes lesser prices, but with lessening of the prices, the risk gets higher. So it completely depends upon what is the dispute. It is advisable to consult a lawyer and see whether the dispute is something which can impact your title in the future.
One more query for you: how can an ownership title be checked? Is there any digital space where a buyer can go and check this in the Delhi?
Yes, Delhi government is now digitizing the land records and putting it up online. There is a portal, the Delhi Land Revenue portal, where you can check the title, but that's more for agricultural pieces of land. I do not think that all land records and ownership documents of private plots and flats have been digitized yet. I mean, if they have, I would be happy to stand corrected. So I will send you the link of, let me just check the link of the Delhi Land Revenue website, which is giving out these ownership records.
Okay. Another query: how can we check whether a colony is authorized with all approvals or unauthorized?
Master plan. Your Bible for Delhi or any other city is always the master plan. You see in the master plan, and so MPD 2021 is what is right now prevalent in Delhi, and they keep on updating it. There are several notifications, so it makes sense to go through the master plan. You might for a general person who's not seen the master plan before, you might get mind boggled up by looking at it because it's slightly technical, but that's the document which will practically tell you whether something is authorized or unauthorized. Or if you are getting into a gated community buying from a developer, just ask for the approvals which the Director Country and Town Planning has given, or whether there's a zoning approval or not. These documents would be available to the developer.
Can a person check on their own, or do you advise that you should go to a legal expert? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I mean, of course, you can try and check it on your own, but that would require a lot of running around from sub-registrar office to the developer. But while you're making a big investment, it might make sense to consult an expert, a developer or an agent or a lawyer who's day in day out doing this. They would be able to better advise you whether something is absolutely legal or not.
So you advise that you should actually
Yes, I think depends upon so if you're buying, say, from a reputed developer who's developing a gated community, there are some assumptions you can always make about a developer that this particular level of developer will not sell you something which which is illegal. But you can always check these documents and make a cross-reference. RTI is, of course, one tool you have. You can always write to the government department and say whether this particular colony is registered, authorized, unauthorized.
Pankaj, I have an interesting query here. What kind of lands can't be purchased for residential purposes? Would you like to?
Repeat that?
What kind of lands can't be purchased for residential purposes? Are there, what are the categories of land that can't be used for residential?
Anything that is for industry, infrastructure, anything else except for residential. In the master plan, residential is marked. Anything which is not residential will not be used for residential.
And that's where I'm going to bring this discussion to a close. I think the important thing is that across the Delhi area, there are pockets that are emanating which have a lot of plotted developments. Like all our experts said, it is important to see that you have your legal due diligence done. Buy into those areas where there is infrastructure. Buy into those areas where there is future potential. Where there are industrial hubs, commercial hubs, educational hubs, and so on. And if you are somebody who wants to make grow your money, buy into those areas where the total leverage has not been taken out of the land. It's early stage development, and it has the potential to rise in the future. So thank you so much for watching The Property Show. I'm Jayashree Kuru, and thank you so much for joining me in this show.
Thank you.